and I have started recording as well. So in recording, you will only hear whatever is the relevant part, not the forwarding and all these things. So the first important aspect is, if you are an engineer, you are supposed to work with time and cost constraints, and you are supposed to serve end user. So it is never going to happen that if you are an engineer, you will have huge amount of time in your hand and huge amount of cost to spend or money to spend. It will be always going to be a bridge between a researcher and end user. So why I'm telling you this, because when we discuss about product life cycle, because when we discuss about product design cycle, so product life cycle is a different story, product design cycle is a different story, but when we talk about product design cycle and product life cycle together, we are supposed to take into account role of an engineer, because it is extremely important to have product out in time, and it is extremely important to have product at an appropriate cost. So sometimes if I sell iPhone at a premium phone maybe, or premium laptop at damn cheap rate, it will never remain premium. That's a different story. But when we talk about engineering projects, let's say constructing bridges, constructing dams, then the cost implications are pretty much extensive. So the engineer must understand research has to be converted into an end product. You should not be focusing on research. So engineer must focus on application. That is what I just wanted to convey. Now, what is exactly career in mechanical design? So when we are doing LS Dyna or FEA kind of technology study, we are supposed to first understand where we sit, where we stand in the organization. So for that, we will understand in a simplest way, I'll just draw some figures. There is going to be a concept department. So you must have seen a lot of concept vehicles, right? Some exuberant wheels, large wheels, and all these things. Those are the concept vehicles. They may not be directly ready for out in the market, but the concept department is going to give job to engineering department to convert that concept into an end usable product. So cars are a pretty good example, because we all can see concept and we all can see engineering. So both can be seen when we are talking about concept and engineering. So in cars, the concept department will be there, which will be hearing out from market. So what youths need, what is the buying power, what they need to require, do they need touch screen, do they need the cameras on the outside mirrors, do they need safety, are they cautious about safety? All these things are being heard by from market by the concept department, and the engineering department is going to execute that particular concept. Okay, so career in mechanical design starts with the design itself. Okay, so you may not be a part of a design team directly, that means you may not be working on CAD tools, but for sure you are going to interact with those who are working on CAD tools, and at the same time you will be interacting with those who are doing prototyping. Okay, so both way you are going to have an interaction as a CAE engineer, because you are essentially part of a design team. So the first important aspect in mechanical design, if you want to pursue it, is listening skills. Okay, and listening is not, okay, so if I go for listening, listening is not hearing. Listening is always related to asking correct questions at appropriate time. Okay, so it is never going to be hearing. You are supposed to ask questions, otherwise you are not listening. Okay, so that is a key difference between hearing and listening. So make sure you are a key listener, then you are going to proceed further with understanding what is happening in the research side, not doing the actual research, but understanding what is happening at the research side. Then you have to plan your activity. So of course planning is very, very important. Then you have to move forward with the speed, and speed can be achieved using team. So engineers are not lone survivors, they are always the team players. So we are supposed to always go ahead in a team, and then only we can achieve speed of execution. Okay, and of course you have to showcase your presentation. So presentation is extremely important, and you are supposed to make customer happy. Okay, so happiness, see, it can happen that you may exceed expectations, you may fulfill expectations. Sometimes customer will be happy if you just fulfill the expectation. Sometimes customer may not be happy even if you fulfill all the expectations, because he is expecting more from you. So in that case, you have to take into account what is the happiness, customer happiness to deal with. Okay, and then of course a designer will be happy. So you have to always in a design cycle focus on three key aspects. Okay, so write down in your notebooks three key aspects. The first key aspect is listening. If you are not going to listen correctly, you may not give a correct solution. Okay, so you have to listen. That's the first key aspect. The second key aspect is planning. If you don't plan your activity cost wise and time wise, the delivery timelines may not be met always, and then customer will be unhappy. He will not feel at home, he will not feel comfortable, he or she will not feel comfortable. So make sure you are looking after listening skills, you are looking after planning skills, and you are looking after presentation skills. Because execution, typically nobody has a problem in executing, but people are having problem in actually presenting what they have done. So if presentation is not good, typically it becomes a one-way communication, and customer will feel that he is getting disconnected with the project itself. So this is the overview of what is happening in a design cycle or in typical design frame. So if it is clear, type in clear, then I will move forward. I hope the concept is pretty much clear, right? Yeah, and you have any questions, just type in, not a problem. I will just try to answer questions right away. We don't have a separate, we do have a separate question answer session, but if you have a question right now in your mind, just make sure you are asking it right away on the chat box. Okay, good. Thanks for replies, guys. Thanks, Ketki. Thanks, Bhushan. Thanks, Ali. So thanks, Ankush. Let's move forward with the important aspect, which is, I think this was the explanation. Yeah, which is organizational structure. Okay, so as an engineer, uh, I was a graduate engineering trainee back in 2005, but now I have my own company, actually two organizations. One is a training organization, the other is a services organization. So what is it that is possible to be done by an engineer, that has to be understood. Okay, so we have to make sure we are placing ourselves in an organization as a CAE engineer, as a CAD engineer, and we have to make sure we are going in a progress path. Okay, so otherwise it will happen that you are continuously getting involved only in operations, nothing in management, and it's just typically ruin a complete career growth prospect of yours. So let's say I am 20 years experience in only in operations, and I know nothing about management, I know nothing about planning. Then it just becomes what you can say an easy catch, where like the situation like now, lockdown kind of situation, people will get fired if they are not multi faceted or multi capable. So that's something which you have to look after. So basically there are going to be front end functions and back end functions. Why we are discussing this? The importance of CAE department is getting underlined day by day. If you are not looking forward to build an organization, maybe 5 years, 6 years, 10 years, I worked in Tata Johnson Control for more than 8 years in one company, and then I started my own business. That is possible. Some of my friends started very early, like couple of years they worked and they started their own organizations, and then still they are still surviving. What I mean to say is, if you are not clear about where you are going to sit in the organization, you may not get a career prospect, you may not get a path to grow. Okay, so operations, sales and marketing are always the front end functions. HR, finance and R&D, of course management, are going to be the back end functions. So as an engineer, as a design engineer, because you are essentially going to be working either in operations or in R&D or in sales. You are never going to work in marketing, HR and finance. Of course, once you grow, you are going to go to the management side. That's always going to happen. So we are, as CAE engineers, we are going to work in either sales or operations or R&D. Sales is an unlimited growth field. As an entrepreneur, I'm first of all a salesperson. So it is extremely important that you understand what is sales. You may like it, you may not like it, but you have to understand it so that you can build your own organizations in a organization in a later stage. That's the only thing I wanted to tell you in a couple of minutes. So remember, you cannot work alone. That's what we discussed in the last slide. And if you are supposed to work in a team, you have three teams to choose for: either a sales team or an operations team or an R&D team. So R&D team is typically going to listen to sales. They are going to understand what are the customers' requirements in the future, what they may expect, and then there is going to be an R&D. Or like now, today only we have a news that all Indian auto companies are focusing on defense procurements, because defense is a growing field now. So even Tata, Mahindra, Maruti Suzuki, everyone is trying to focus on defense field rather than consumer automotives, because consumer automobiles are declining continuously for a very long time now. So they are struggling to find a pace and to run the business. So it is very, very important that R&D happens. So if let's say I am Maruti Suzuki, and I have only one vehicle which goes to military, which is this Gypsy. Okay, no other vehicle is there which is of a military grade. That is where Maruti may have to focus. Of course, Maruti doesn't have to do anything because they hold more than 50% of the share. So in passenger vehicles, nobody is going to compete with them. But just for an example, what is R&D? The sales guys are going to tell that, okay, there is a tremendous requirement of a 4x4 vehicle, but not small like Gypsy. We want a larger vehicle. Maybe Maruti must need to invest in R&D so that they can cope with it. Okay, so don't take this example literally, but that is a thinking which is happening in minds of leadership in the automotive field. Okay, so let's move on and understand a very, very important concept which is missing all over the place. Okay, and the concept is subject matter technical expert. Okay, the concept is very important. Pay good attention to it. There are right now product engineers and there are application engineers, which I call it tool operators. So I got a question right now. I think somebody asked me a question. Is this a LS Dyna session, right? Somebody asked a question, correct? So this webinar is for LS Dyna, Anubhav, right? So my friend, this is about LS Dyna, but LS Dyna is just another tool. So if you are focusing 100% on tool, then you will become a tool operator. We are understanding what is the importance of LS Dyna. If you become a subject matter technical expert, you can become a subject matter technical expert without a tool in your hand, but you will become a subject matter technical expert with tool in hand at a faster rate. Am I making sense, guys? Type in MS. Making sense. So this is not something crappy I'm discussing right now. If you feel that this is out of context, you will understand it later. Okay, so typically for those who are asking questions, is it an LS Dyna session? I am not a tool operator. I am a subject matter technical expert in seating system. That's what my identity is. So I'm using LS Dyna, I'm using PAMcrash, I'm using Radios. I'm most comfortable in LS Dyna. That does not mean if LS Dyna is going to stop their operations, I'm going to also stop my operations, right? That is where you have to focus on non-tool operator job. You should not become a tool operator. Just get rid of all the concepts which colleges, or there are many training institutes who are only focusing on tools. 5 tools, 6 tools, 7 tools, doesn't matter. Nobody is going to ask you how many tools you have learned. They are going to ask you what you know about a product. The scenario is extremely volatile and the scenario is extremely demanding. That means there is going to be a huge demand for subject matter technical experts, there is going to be a declining demand of tool operators. Okay, so this level 1 course of LS Dyna is a start of a journey towards becoming a subject matter technical expert. You cannot become a subject matter technical expert without you solving 6, 7, 8, 10 industrial problems on the same domain. Okay, otherwise you're just, let's say I know hypermesh, so I got some part from made up of plastic, I meshed it. That is a tool operator's job. Again, I got a plastic part from, let's say, Whirlpool, I meshed it, it was all fine. I am a good tool operator, but tools are becoming more and more automated. The engineering, that is computer aided engineering, is becoming more and more automated. In that case, the product engineer is very, very important. The application engineering is going to decline for sure. You must have seen that if I just have a skill which is related to one tool or maybe meshing technology, I may not find too many jobs. But if I'm expert in seating, I'll give you simple examples. Last week we had interviews, 4 interviews in one of the Pune-based company for seating system. The person who was giving an interview uh, was unaware of PAM crash, but he was aware of LS Dyna, but he was thoroughly aware about seating system, and he got selected. Why? Because he was having a product knowledge. Tools can be learned later. Is it clear, guys? So type in SMT if you are clear about subject matter technical expert, and take a note of it, write it down. Maybe you can just, don't take a screenshot. I can share this presentation to you. Don't waste your time in getting the screenshots. Make sure you're writing down, because then you connect your brain with your muscles, and then it will be registered for a very long time. Okay, it's a completely different way of learning. Okay, so type in SMT if you are understanding what is SMT. If you have questions, make sure you ask me. Okay, clear? So we are not here to learn tool. That has to be clearly understood. If you are clear about not learning tool and you are using tool to learn product, then it becomes a game changer. Then you will stand out of crowd. If you are learning tool like somebody else does, then you will be the same guy. But if you are learning tool to become SMT, then it is going to be extremely important. Okay, so Siddharth is asking, good book on seating system SMT. Nobody is going to give you a good book, but we have a training session, 15, 16 sessions we did for seating system. You can join those sessions if you wish to. It's a big, when I say 15 sessions, it's not 5-minute session. It's 1 hour to 1.5 hour, one session, minimum 1 hour, and then you can just go through all the understanding. There is no CAE, there is no CAD. It is all about product. So that is a later part. I will share a separate presentation to you. Okay, clear, guys? So let's move forward and let's understand what is a digital twin. Okay, very important, because we are CAE engineers. We are essentially working on a digital twin. We are essentially working on what? A digital twin. Okay, digital twin can be of a process, it can be of a living thing, it can be of a product, or it can be of a place. So if, let's say, I'm an autonomous driving company, autonomous vehicle driving company, and I want to drive my vehicles in a constrained space. Let's say I want to drive it in a large factory like Tata Motors or Mahindra and Mahindra. Huge land, but I want that vehicle to only drive in that particular area. Shuttle service, for example. I don't want a driver, and it should go from one point to the other, and it should stop when inside passenger clicks a button. It should stop, it should start again by looking around, and then move forward. So basically, when we are talking about digital twin, it can be of a place. So I can have a digital factory, and then I can run a digital vehicle inside it. Digital twin is a non-physical entity, as name suggests. Okay, so it is always a non-physical entity. Always remember this. And what is important for us to understand, the essence of becoming SMT is when you understand surrounding. Okay, so if you just understand product, let's say I'm working on a seating system. If I don't understand surrounding of a seating system, I will not understand importance of that particular component. So let's say I'm a software engineer, or so yeah, I'm working in HP. So my laptop is made by HP. This is the HP digital pen. If I don't understand, if I'm an engineer working on this pen, if I don't understand what is importance of this particular pen, that means surrounding, then I may not be designing it well. Okay, so that's why when you are actually talking about subject matter technical expertise, you are talking about use of digital twin to leverage your understanding about surrounding. Okay, very, very simple term. So as I said, this is a product which was a very early test dummy, never being used nowadays, but it's like, to understand, late 50s, these guys, they used a dummy made up of wood. But now nobody uses dummies like that. They are more sophisticated, and this is a physical product, and this is digital twin of a physical product. So we are creating a digital twin of a human being essentially. That's what is an importance of a uh, uh, virtual prototype. Okay, that is the importance of a virtual prototype. Okay, so when we are talking about prototyping, let's first understand what are the various ways of manufacturing one part or many parts, or let's say batch of parts. So it is mass production, batch production, and job order production. Just take a look at it. Okay, just take a look at it. I will give you 30 seconds. It's not super technical. You all know that. You all are engineers. So your 30 seconds starts now, and I will just highlight few points. I just want you to highlight few points, not me. So I just want you to highlight few points. And if I give you an example, you should be able to tell me which type of production method being used for that particular product to be manufactured. Okay, so your 30 seconds starts now. Where is my counter? Yeah, here it is. Just take a look, understand it. Comparison points are there in the first column. Second column, what is the cost per piece? Understand it, visualize it. Make sure you are clear with the concept of mass production, batch production, and job order production. And then this becomes a easy test for you. Okay, and type in done once you are done going through it. So just type in done so that I will understand. Done. Okay. One off. So Sharath, one off is only one product. There is no second, like a dam. So I'll just give you a simple example. You cannot have exactly same dam built somewhere else. GPM is general purpose machine and SPM is special purpose machine. So a simple vertical drilling machine is a general purpose machine. But if you want a drill at some angles and at a, let's say 3 drills at a time, then you have to build that machine by your own, or maybe you have to give a I'm sorry, give a contract. Okay. Oops, sorry. Yeah. Okay, most of you are done, I think. Shall we move on? Shall we move forward? I will give you an example. I'm going to give you an example now. So the example is, uh, let's say a fighter plane. What, how we will categorize it? A fighter plane order of, let's say, 100 planes. Will it be mass production? Will it be batch production? Or will it be a job order production? It's a batch production, right? Clear? So you understand what is happening, right? And let's say I want to manufacture this kind of a toy. So my daughter's toy, but if I want to manufacture this kind of a toy, it's going to be a mass production, right? So importance of batch, mass and job order production for a CAE engineer is extremely high. Reason being, if you don't know whether this is a batch, mass or job order production technique being used for one of the component, you may not be able to design it for the manufacturing needs into consideration. So if I go for a very fine surfacing and I don't have, it's like a batch production, then you become a Rolls Royce. Then you need heavily skilled laborers. They do by smashing on aluminum, they build their body from scratch, and it's all handmade. That's fascinating. But the point is, it cannot be scaled up. It will have a cost of its own, and then it will never become a mass production, right? So it is all to be done with batch, mass and job order production. A CAE engineer, a design department, has to think about which material to be used, which type of manufacturing method to be used, and then they have to make sure they are passing the requirements of management at the same time with the customer. Okay, that's the important part. Is this clear, guys? So type in clear if you are clear with mass production, batch production and job order production. Clear? This PPT is going to be with you, don't worry. A complete presentation I'm going to share with you. Okay, once you are done, I have registration addresses for everyone. I'm going to share this presentation with you, including the notes, so that you will have a future reference. No worries about it. Okay, good. So let's move on. So we discussed in detail about it, but let's understand why CAE and what is model and what is prototype. Okay, so first questions we will answer: what is a model and what is a prototype? So in simple terms, I will write it down, and I think you guys are smart enough, you will understand it. So okay, yeah, here you go. So model and prototype. What is a prototype? It is always 1:1 and it always works. So as engineer, we should remember only one definition. If you try to remember another definition, you will screw yourself up. Am I right? So in engineering days, you must have seen that we try to remember only one definition. The opposite definition we will not remember at all. Right? So what is a prototype? It is 1:1 working model. That means something which is 1:1 is not sufficient to become a prototype, and something which works but which is not 1:1 is also not a prototype. Very, very clear distinction. 1:1 working model is a prototype. So something which you put in the wind tunnel, let's say I'm Airbus and I'm putting my Airbus model into passenger jet into wind tunnel. I'm not putting what? I'm not putting a proto. What I'm putting inside the wind tunnel? I'm putting a model, because first of all it is scaled. Second thing is it never works. It's just like an outer body which is used to find out what is the coefficient of drag. Clear? So prototype is working model with 1:1 scale. Very, very important. Never forget this. Models, you can scale them up, you can scale them down. They may work, they may not work. So clay models, typically in Auto Expo, you must have seen there are funky cars, and they typically have bright colors and they have blackened out windows. Basically, they are not the cars; they are the sand or the clay models. And those clay models are models; they are not prototypes. Okay, they cannot work. What we are doing as CAE engineers is we are working on prototypes. We are not working on models. That's why we call CAD as model. CAD will never work. If I apply load on a CAD, it will never take any load at all. But if I apply load on a CAE model or CAE prototype, then it is always going to give a resistance, because we have defined material and section to it. Okay, so why we need CAE? We need CAE to reduce prototypes, because prototypes are essential part of a development. You cannot just create a final production. You have to go through a prototyping phase, and to reduce number of prototypes you need CAE. CAE is never going to, computer aided engineering is never to eliminate physical test. Okay, always remember, there are always going to be debates like this. Why we are then doing physical tests? CAE is never to eliminate physical test. Physical test must exist because CAE is a prediction methodology. It's not a final result. So CAE never to eliminate physical test. It is always going to coexist. What is the sole purpose of CAE? Sole purpose of CAE is to reduce number of prototypes. So a simple example I will give, a small car. So you can take this example. This is H2X, which was a model, which was a concept vehicle. Okay, and the real vehicle you must have seen. So this is not the real vehicle, but you must have seen a camouflaged vehicle which runs on a track, which runs on a road, which has driver sitting in it, which has speed controls, everything, gears, all these things are there. This we will be calling, on the left side we will be calling it as a prototype, and the right side we are going to call it as a model. Is it clear, guys? So type in clear if this is clear. I'll just give you a simple example. So if I want to understand why prototyping is, or virtual prototyping is important, which is nothing but CAE. Let's say a vehicle is sold at 4 lakh rupees on the road. 4 lakh is the sticker price for the vehicle, and I'm in the development process of this particular vehicle. I want to compete with some base model, Tiago or something like that. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to build prototypes. Why I need to build prototypes? Because I have to test those prototypes in real world. Now if I have a budget of some 60 prototypes, so one prototype will cost, if it is a budget of, let's say, I'm sorry guys, the tip is not good. Okay, so some 60 prototypes, then each prototype may cost you 40 lakh rupees. Okay, that is 4 million. Okay, 4 million rupees it may cost you. If that is the cost, and if you are able to reduce 40 prototypes, let's say I am able to reduce half of them even. So I reduce some 40 protos because I use CAE. I am still pretty much profitable as far as R&D budget is concerned, because I'm not building them. Big proto build takes huge time. The main factor is not just money, it is time to market. Okay, time to market is very, very crucial in FMCG, in automotive, everywhere. So people wait for you. In mobile phones it is very crucial, and mobile phones are also going through various tests. There are some electronic tests, there are some mechanical tests. So if I have two glasses, so my phone is having, so I'll tell you, I'll give you a simple example. My phone has this flip camera, you can see this. Okay, if this is a flip camera, it has a durability test to undergo through, right? This mechanism should, so Asus has done a good job of some 100,000 cycles. So if I'm doing this for 100,000 cycles, the durability is still going to be intact. All these are the mechanical tests on any product you take. Okay, so it is very, very important that you reduce number of prototypes, which will accelerate your time to market, and then you will be ahead of competition. Is it clear? So I want you to write it down in 15 to 20 seconds. I really want you to put your own mind into it and write this down. Okay. And then type in done once you are done writing. So why, what is a model? What is a prototype? That definition you can write down, and you can also write down why we need CAE. So sole purpose of CAE is to reduce number of prototypes. That's the only purpose. Okay, thanks Abhishek. Good. Thanks Supriya. Thanks Chitan. Thanks Ankush. Good guys, quick, write it down. Thanks Ali, thanks Bilam Konda, thanks Sakib. Okay, so let's move on and we will understand the concept of designs. Okay, what are the various types of designs? So we are not some aliens. CA engineers are not aliens. They are the design engineers in the most essential way. Okay, so you are not supposed to run away from the design team. You are always part of a design team. So what are we going to do? We are going to understand what is this SS, DS and DD. So simply I will write it down. Static load, static design. Okay, static load, static design. Then we have dynamic load but static design, and then we have dynamic load and dynamic design. So you all know what is dynamic. Dynamic load is simply defined as load which changes its magnitude and direction and or direction with respect to time. Okay, so if I have a load which is continuously changing its magnitude and or direction, then it will be called as a dynamic load. We are going to see what is dynamic load when we are going to discuss in our second session of LS-DYNA, inputs possible in LS-DYNA. It's a large session. What are the various inputs possible? We are going to discuss it in session number 2. But I will throw more light on what is dynamic load and all these things. But to simply understand it, I will give you examples and they will be pretty much self-explanatory. Static load, static design is nothing but you are designing a table, you are designing a chair which is having pure static load on it, and you are designing it statically. Okay, so it's all static, no time domain. Dynamic load static design is bridges or flag post. So you have a flag post, you have some tall lights. All these are static structures, but they experience a dynamic load. They experience wind load. They experience various kinds of on bridges. They experience a change in load. So there will be a bus going on. There will be a cycle going on. There will be 3 buses going on. There will be 2-3 buses at same time. All these things are being experienced by bridge, but it is essentially converting a dynamic load into an equivalent static load and then designing it with a static principle with, of course, a higher factor of safety, right? That depends on application for sure. And then we have dynamic load, dynamic design. So dynamic load, dynamic design, I'll just give you 4 examples: blast, drop, crash, and impact. That's all. So if you are able to categorize how exactly you are going to design your components based on application, then you will be in a better position to choose solver for it. So for static load static design, there are too many solvers available. For dynamic load static design, it is essentially a static load static design thing, but we are converting dynamic load into a static equivalent. But for dynamic load dynamic design problems, we are supposed to use explicit dynamic solver. Okay, so we are going to talk about it in detail. What is importance of what is importance of a non-linear dynamic explicit transient solver? That's the major question, why we are supposed to learn LS-DYNA. Okay, so that will be in session 2. So this is the importance of you understanding what is static load static design, what is dynamic load dynamic design, and what is dynamic load static design. Okay, so type in U if you have understood this. Okay, and take your time to write it down. Maybe if you need it, just take your time and write it down. Understood? Okay, good. So am I adding some value to you? Are you learning something? Type in learning L if you are learning something. Okay, so I really want you to dig into it. Maybe you can go back and just you can listen to one of my video which I shot on highway. If you go to my YouTube channel, Eleno Engineering Learning Center. That's the YouTube channel. If you go there, I shot it on Pune Mumbai Express Highway just after ending it. I discussed about static load, static design, dynamic load, dynamic design, and dynamic load, static design with real world examples. I was standing on the highway. So that's something which I really want you to experience. Make yourself comfortable with the physical world. If you are just comfortable with the screen, 2D screen, you may not feel it. Okay, so make sure that you are okay. Good, thanks Ankush, you watched it, I'm glad. Okay, so let's move forward and understand what is a dynamic load. So we discussed about it, right? Dynamic load is load changes its magnitude and or direction with respect to time, is called as what? A dynamic load. Okay, so this is called as a dynamic load. Load changes its magnitude and or direction with respect to time. So if you are not focusing on these three parts, then of course direction, then it is going to be very difficult to understand. Okay, so I typically give a classic example of a pulley and a shaft. So if you have a pulley and if which is mounted on the shaft and it is being put in the bearings, and if it is rotating at a constant speed omega, and it is having a mass which is equal to m, if it is having a constant speed, this is typically a static load, correct? It's just a pulley, no pulling, nothing happening. It's just rotating about these in these bearings and about an axis, and it is perfectly balanced. But as soon as you add an imbalance to this, so let's take this as a side view, and as soon as you add imbalance to this, it is always going to be m dash r omega square, which is going to cause an imbalance force, and this force is going to be changing its direction continuously. It will not change its magnitude because the mass will be constant, radius will be constant, but it will continuously change its direction, and then it becomes a dynamic load. And you guys must remember, when we select bearings, we consider dynamic load factor KD, and that is all to do with this dynamic load, dynamic design. Okay, so this is something which you guys should understand. Okay, now let's move forward with what is design validation plan. Okay, before we proceed, are you all clear with this static load, static design and all these things? 100% clear? Have you taken this definition down? Load changes its magnitude and or direction with respect to time will be called as a dynamic load. Okay, have you taken this down? Type in yes if you have taken this down. Okay, good, nice. So let's move forward with the concept of design validation plan. Extremely important. I gave you one example of design validation plan, which is I opening the selfie camera for some 10 times a day. That becomes almost how much? 10 times a day is 3000 times a year or 4000 times a year. And I can practically use this mobile for much longer time if it is having 100,000 cycles, right? Closing, opening, closing, opening, closing cycles. So who decided that? That is the department which is always sales guys. They will understand the customer, how that customer is using the product right now. The management, because they are going to put a lot of insights about costing, about market placement and all these things, and of course the design department. Okay, so this all is going to be decided, the design validation plan. Any product you take, it will always have a DVP. Okay, any product you take, you will always have a DVP, that is design validation plan. So sales, management, design, all these teams will sit together. If there are government regulations, then there is no point in discussing amongst ourselves. So for example, seating system. So seating system will have government regulations. So you discussing internally that I want to pass this makes no sense, because you have to pass it. Otherwise your vehicle will not be on the road. That's the fact. Okay, But if let's say, let's take an example of a keyboard. Okay, so let's take an example of this wireless keyboard. So I have this Dell wireless keyboard, for example. I will be doing a drop test. Okay, I will be doing what? I will be doing a drop test. Why? Because it's a handheld equipment. Sometime it is going to fall down. I have to make sure that I really have this particular part sustain for at least 3, 4, 5 drops. Okay, so that is a DVP. Okay, my voice, is it clear, guys? Can you hear me? I think some of you are not able to hear me. Type in clear if my voice is clear. Clear, right? Okay. No. So for Supriya, it is not clear. Okay. For others, it is clear. So Supriya, can you try to rejoin? I don't have any restrictions in rejoining. Maybe you can just cut off and try to rejoin. It's audible, right? Yeah. Okay. Okay. So design validation plan is either government regulation, which drives the design validation plan, or it will be an internal requirement, or it will be a compliance. Okay, so design validation plan must be there. Without design validation plan, you cannot even start working on CAD. Okay, so CAD will start with DVP in mind. Then only you are going to get a clear understanding. How are you going to test it? If I don't know how one is going to test. So for example, I'm a defense supplier and I don't know how army is going to test my vehicle. Then how I'm supposed to design it? Is it making sense? So you are supposed to always have a DVP in hand. Then only you can proceed with the design. Very, very simple stuff. Okay. So I am going to take you through some examples of CAE. So this is about Eleno, just 10 seconds. This is as I said, this is the automotive application. So you have offset frontal crash, you have interior parts which are being meshed. So this is just a meshing, but on this particular part, we have done a lot of knee impacts, head impacts, all these things are being done. And they are being followed by FMVSS regulation, ECE regulation, JIS regulation, AIS regulation, that is Automotive Indian Standards. All these regulations are always taken into account with the with this particular area of interest, that is domain. Okay, so I was talking about SMT, and this is what SMT means. A domain expert and a subdomain expert will be, you will become an SMT. But if you are just saying that I know ANSA, I know Hypermesh, I know LS-DYNA, nobody is going to bother to go through your profile. Okay, nobody thinks that, okay, this is something which I really want to understand. People are looking for a product engineer. So you working on CAE or CAD is little immaterial if you are getting hired for 6 year, 7 year, 10 year experience position or a product engineer position. Of course, CAE will be important for supercritical projects like crash, occupant safety. They are extremely important guys in that case. Okay. This is one of the, all the examples are in LS-DYNA. Okay, so what LS-DYNA can do, that is what I'm trying to showcase. So this is the example of one of our student worked and he got in university first rank and a gold medal on this pedestrian impact project. So this is his project. It was sponsored by Eleno, but he did a lot of efforts, and this is his project. Manish Maurya, his name. So he did passed with flying colors, and it's really fulfilling that we were able to help him out. So this is a pedestrian impact regulation which is present in Indian standards, which is present in European standards, and upcoming in FMVSS, that is federal standards, US standards. Okay, this is seating system, my domain, where we work on with belt, without belt, dummies. We work on ECR 14, we work on various other stuff. This is all in time domain. Okay, so whatever we are working on time domain. Even this thing is on a time domain. So you can see 0 millisecond, 15 milliseconds. So we are talking in millisecond terms. Okay, very, very fast crash. This is again frontal impact with dummy, without dummy, and we understood what happens to the chest. This is bus rollover. We are currently working on one of the project for buses. So this is a bus rollover test. Then we have various tests on buses which are side crash, frontal impact, roof crush. All these are dynamic load cases. Okay, so if it is a crash, It is supposed to be in a time domain. That is all possible in LS-DYNA. Then this is a blast domain which we expert in. We are having a lot of contracts with private defense as well as government defense agencies, and we work on LS-DYNA for various types of crash, impact, and blast. You can see another stuff which is actually not an automotive. It has 4 wheels, but it has no occupant. It's an autonomous vehicle. So this we did as a crash, I think couple of years back. And then we have this kind of an example, which is concrete. So this is a bunker penetrator. I'm sorry. So this is a bunker penetrator, and we tried to design bunker. Okay, we are not trying to design the shell. Shell is being designed. We have considered it as a rigid body. We are trying to design what happens to the bunker. So we are going to put some reinforcement here. We are going to put rebars. What are the sizes of rebars? All these things. This is a plain concrete, and it just goes past through. Nothing happens here. So within 3, 4, 5 milliseconds, 2-meter span is being covered by this penetrator. Okay, so that is how we can make use of CAE in future. Okay, these are all defense projects which we actually did. So we can teach you if your project demands are like that. Defense engineering, as I said last time, this is another interesting area which is not known to many, which is called as crash rated gates. Okay, so these gates are for intrusion protection. So nobody cares about the vehicle. The gate must arrest vehicle whatsoever. So this is like 8-ton vehicle, okay, 8,000 kilogram, and it is moving at 80 kilometers per hour. That's the speed of the vehicle. Okay, so that is how fast it goes, and this is typically what we do. We try to understand this. Okay, and then we have another example of it, as the internal energy will go on increasing, the kinetic energy will go on decreasing. This is a gate, but this is a fence. Okay, it has wires in it, because you cannot just put gate all across the compound. You have to put some wires also. So those wires must be also tested. Okay, so this is all general engineering domain. And what are the things we are going to cover from lecture 1 to lecture 20? It is more than 20 lectures, to be very frank, and it is always going to be important for you to listen to the sessions and do the assignments. If you are not going to do anything, then it becomes very difficult. Okay, so doing the assignments or finishing the assignments is also super important. Okay, so it is what are we going to discuss? Why we need CAE? What are the types of CAE techniques, nodes and elements that we are going to cover in second session? Inputs possible in LS-DYNA, implicit, explicit, what is static, dynamic, all these things we are going to cover. Basics of LS-DYNA, history, time step control, which will be 100% a live session. So from this batch onward, we are going to do a split. We are going to have some sessions as hybrid, that is recorded, pre-recorded, but some sessions I'm going to call as a live session only, to make sure I'm clearing your doubt at the same time. So it's like a fast learning. Okay, then types of materials, we are going to discuss about it. Material is very, very simple. Definitions of material is simple to understand. So it may go into the recorded session. I haven't decided it clearly which will go to recording, which will go to a live, but it's like right now 60% will be recorded, 40% will be super critical, will be live. Always the model setup and all these things will be live, because I really want you to give an insight when I'm setting up the model. Basics of engineering, you are going to get some sessions on basics of engineering as well. Some of the last batches, they also didn't receive basics of engineering, because I really wanted to modularize it. So now when you guys are going to enter into 6th batch, you are going to get a bunch of basics of engineering lectures, almost 10 days, that is 20 sessions you are going to get, and plus you are going to get a session series on LS Prepost. So LS Prepost will be always free for you, and this LS Prepost and basic will be on Teachable platform, and of course the other stuff will be also on a Teachable platform. Okay, so I'll be uploading daily videos whenever we are going to attend these sessions. You will get immediately get the video and on the same day, so that those who have missed can watch and come back on the next session. Okay, so this is the course content. This is level 1. Level 1 is very extensive. because we have to learn everything about theory in LS Dyna. But in level 2, level 3, it is more about product. Okay, so those who are really interested, I'm just going to launch a simple poll. I don't want to spam anyone. Okay, so if you guys are really interested in getting through level 1 only, then just give it a poll. I will understand what you want to do, and then it will be easy for me to contact with you. Okay, so I will be sharing fee structure as well, and how to pay and all these things I will share. You all received my emails about reminders, right? From Gmail. It was me who was writing the emails. Okay, it was not a robot. So you received all of you received mails, right? NU Padke, Nachiket Padke, that's my name. So you must have received, right? So I will be sending you, all of you, the course content and the fee structure in the email, so that you are going to get it. But I really don't want to spam anyone. I will be throwing this content to everyone because I really wanted to share. So title of this poll is, do you feel enrolling in level 1 LS Dyna training? Okay, and then yes, add a question. Oh, okay, it is asking like this. Fine. So edit. So only one question. Yes, no, and in future. So just put these three things, and I think I'm done. So this I'm going to delete and save it. I think I can launch a poll. Yep, I'm just launching it. We are just 30 odd people. So just let me know if you are really interested, because it will be like this. Most of the time it is going to be very intense. Sometimes it is going to be 5, 6, 7, 8, 10 different questions, and I will not stop till I answer all of them. Okay, that is always going to happen. And this is something which I really want you guys to undergo. Okay, people have benefited, and people are really interested in going through it. So make sure that you are enrolling, make sure you are making best out of it, because the fees are something which I call it as a bargain. That's not my main business. Training is not my main business. I have a services company, but that's like a bargain. So I really want you guys to go through it. I'll just show you my Razorpay page, where you can easily see my dashboard, and it will be just super safe for you to go through this. Okay, good. So some 6 people are still about to vote. I'm perfectly fine with this. Okay, I will. Anyone else is still voting? Okay, 4 people are still there to vote. I'll wait for 30 seconds. Yeah. So I'm going to share this payment link with you guys. Most of you, so some of you have already enrolled before this session happened. So I'm very thankful to you guys. You enrolled early. And some of you, those who really want to enroll now, you still have a chance to enroll. And I'll be just sending you the, showing you the, yeah, here you go. So I will give you a link. Yep. LS Dyna level 1. And what are you going to get? That also I will tell you. Okay, so you're going to get, guys, can you see my screen? Sanjay, thanks for endorsing. Sanjay was our batch 3 student. Thanks Sanjay for endorsing. So I just share my screen, guys. Wait a second. Yeah. Okay. So here you go. This is full hypermesh, which is not right now. Maybe you can enroll if you wish to. It's still going on. But right now the focus is on LS Dyna. You will be learning LS Prepost. You don't have to pay for it. The full course, LS Prepost course, will be with you. worth rupees 3150. This is free for you. And one course is remaining here, which is Basics of Engineering, which will be also free for you. Okay, so there is no need to pay for Basics of Engineering course. You just have to pay for this much amount, which is 15,999 including GST. So this is the payment link. Those who are really interested, you can just simply go to the payment link and pay it. I will be sending you this thing anyway. So just a second. Here you go. So in chat window, I'll just show you. Yeah. Okay. So this is the payment link. Razorpay LS Dyna level 1. You can just click on it. In using your credit card, debit cards, you can pay. If you are using credit cards, you can convert your credit cards into EMIs so that you don't feel a burden. For 6 months, it will be like some 400 rupees extra, but you will get some kind of this thing. Okay, so I'm now open for question. Shubham, you have any question? Shall I unmute you? You can unmute yourself, I think.
Yeah, sir, yeah. Can you hear me, sir?
Yes, Shubham. Go ahead.
Yeah. Yeah, LS pre-post. Sir, if you'll pay for LS Dyna level 1, then LS pre-post will be included in that?
Yes.
Yeah, that was the question. If I'll pay for that, and LS pre-p will be included
LS
in that?
pre-post will be included plus Basics of Engineering. Yeah. So guys, give me a second. I in front of you only. This is the curriculum for Basics of Engineering. Okay, so this course also you are going to get. This is a teachable platform. This is in edit mode, so I'll just give you a preview. Just a second. So we are actually doing. Wait a minute. So we are. Yeah, here you go. So we are doing this daily routine now. You are going to get, these are the sessions. See, elastic constant, stress strain curve, strain energy and resilience, basics of SOM. All these are the video sessions which me and my team have come up with, and you can go through it. This is Basics of Engineering sessions, which are first 2 sessions are free. You can just watch them. This is how it plays, and I will be discussing, Abhinav will be discussing. So you are going to essentially get 2 sessions, 2 extra courses free. The first course is, if I go for courses, I will show you what are those 2 courses. So you are going to get LS pre-post training, and you are going to get Basics of Engineering course as a bundle. Okay, so you are not supposed to pay anything, and this will be a lifetime access. Okay, no access will be taken out from you. Everything will be a lifetime access. You can just go through it, and I think that is more than sufficient for you to prepare for an interview. Okay.
One more question, sir.
Yes.
Yeah. What is a Master of Engineering Master Program?
That's a full program where we have Hypermesh also. We have a seating system training also. And we do have a seating system in LS Dyna. So it's going to be very detailed. It's going to be seating system training, seating system product training. Then it is going to be full Hypermesh, full LS Dyna, level 1, level 2, level 3, all these things. So I will be sending you this detailed proposal. Okay, so just a minute, I will show you how detailed it is. So just give me a minute. Yeah, here you go. So this is almost 6 or 7 pages. I think many of you have got this proposal anyway. So it has full Hypermesh. You will see how it looks. LS pre-post training, you will see that. LS Dyna training, master CAE, everything with placement assistance. So that is what we are providing at the final end. Okay, and all the prices are transparent. You can see them. You can ask for the payment links. The payment links are working. Seating system, if you wish to, you can just enroll for seating system. So you can have a combination of LS Dyna level 1 and seating system. So that is still okay. Yes. So yes, Supriya, we are going to do that because many I have requested to give the insight about Hypermesh, setting up LS Dyna model in Hypermesh. So I will take responsibility. I will be doing that. Not a problem. Sanjay, roughly around 10,000 sensors being used in latest car. So good question about ADAS. One of my friend Aniruddha Dorle, he is actually going to carry out a session. Okay, So make sure you are staying in touch on social media. I will be questioning him about machine learning, about what is the role of ADAS in automotive, how it is moving forward. All these things I'm going to question him. So I'm not an expert in this, I cannot answer it, but somebody will be there to answer. Okay, so good. Those who are really interested in enrolling, please enroll, because tomorrow also we are going to have our session. So there is no waiting. It's going to be the second session tomorrow, and those who are enrolling in next 24 hours before 8 p.m. So not even 24 hours. It's going to be some 23 hours. It's going to be a very exciting journey. And first 2-3 sessions I will be for sure live, and then I will be giving you directions on how to proceed with the recorded sessions and what are you supposed to do after you watch it, so that we can meet frequently and without changing our timing. Okay, so our timing will be roughly like this, maybe 7:30, but not earlier than that. Okay, so it will be like 8 p.m. to 9 p.m. or maybe 7:30 p.m. to 8 p.m. 8:30 p.m. like that. So tomorrow we are going to start. So already Supriya has enrolled. Already I think Bhushan has enrolled. So you guys are going to anyway join. So please join in with us, and it's also going to be a very exciting thing to learn. Yes, Supriya. So reading document, I will be giving you a lot of readings to do. First 21 days, 30 days are going to be reading only, because you will never become a subject matter expert. So guys, thanks a lot for attending this webinar on a short notice. Make sure you are enrolling yourself. Make sure you are asking questions. Right now also, if you have questions, we have 2 minutes to go. So if anyone has a question about paying, anyone has a question about enrolling, I will be just putting a link for payment. You will be getting, as I said, you will be getting LS pre-post session for free. You don't have to pay for it. And you will be getting basics of engineering session for free, which is worth 2,000 rupees. So it's like 3,150 plus 2,000. So you are anyway getting 5,000 rupees of courses free of cost. Okay. Model setup, Ankush will be in LS pre-post mandatorily. We are not going to use Hypermesh. We are not going to use ANSA for level 1. And there is a specific reason. LS pre-post is always free. It doesn't need a license, and LS pre-post is very accurate in building the model. Okay, so we will be doing everything in Hypermesh in LS pre-post, but I will be telling you how to set up model in Hypermesh as well. ANSA, I don't have a license. We are authorized training partners for Hypermesh, that is Altair, and we are authorized training partners for LS Dyna. So whatever is licensed to us, I will teach you. I don't have a license for ANSA, unfortunately. So I will not be able to teach you that. Okay, so any questions, guys? If you have, I'm really very happy to answer. Have you enjoyed the session, guys? Just type in E if you have enjoyed it. No. Supriya, I will be giving you access. Don't worry. I will be giving you access. You have already enrolled, so I will be giving you access. Don't worry. It's just like I have to put your email address. You are automatically going to get the access. Okay, good. Thanks a lot, guys, for feedback. Thanks for attending the session. And those who are interested, I really want you to join the course. I really want you to come and join us. Even if you miss or take 1 or 2 days to decide, it's okay, because all the recordings will be available, including today's. So I will be able to share tomorrow's recording anyway. So make sure you are available. Make sure you are going to join the session, and tell your friends and colleagues also, and then it will be much of a fun. Okay, so see you then, guys. Have a good night. Make sure you are staying safe at home, and make sure you are enrolling for the course, and we will meet tomorrow. A master course duration, Shubham, is roughly 5 months. Okay, 5 months. It is around 500 hours of training. Okay, monthly it is 100 hours of training. It's extensive, very extensive. Okay, so all those things are ready now. So you may come to our office also if you are in Pune, but you can complete that course even if you are not in Pune. It's all available online. Okay, see you then, guys. Have a good night. Thanks for attending again, and see you tomorrow at 8 p.m. The link will be different. I will be sharing those who are enrolling. I will be sharing link with you guys, and I will be sharing or adding you to the free sessions as well. Okay, see you then. You are welcome, Bhushan. Welcome, Supriya. Welcome, Ankush. Yes, good night, Ankush. Yeah, see you. Thanks, Shubham. Yep, I'm ending the meeting now.